Well, the Democrats are now accusing the Republicans of wanting to starve children. I got to get into this. And I want to talk about defending capitalism. We have a fantastic record, we capitalists. Fantastic record, those of us who believe in capitalism and reject economic socialism. But before we do, I feel like I have to do this every day. It's very frustrating to me, but I have to do what I have to do. You know, information is an important thing. Knowledge is an important thing. So it's important to have both. A little bit of experience doesn't hurt. Before commenting on certain things that you may not know a whole lot about. First of all, Israel, of course, doesn't control President Trump, nor has it ever controlled any past president. Israel is not ethnic cleansing. That would be the motivations and intentions of the Islamist terrorists, who do so brazenly throughout the Middle East and Africa, slaughtering black Christians, all Christians, slaughtering Jews, slaughtering anybody who gets in their way, from Syria to Yemen, Lebanon. There aren't a whole lot of Jews or Christians left in the Arab countries or Muslim countries, are they? Why? In fact, there aren't a lot of Christians left in Bethlehem. Why is that? Black Christians are being slaughtered. Nigeria, the Congo, other places in Africa, enslaved by Muslim marauders. We hear nothing about that. Zero. Not the Jews doing it. Not the Jews who attacked us on 9/11 or 1993. The Israelis. Ethnic cleansing. Is that what we were doing when we hit Japan with 2 atomic bombs? No, we were trying to win a war. Dresden, Berlin. The multiple and unprecedented steps the IDF has taken to try and limit casualties at the cost of their own lives and increasing the longevity of the war in Gaza is no secret. Experts from all walks of life have explained it, but the Hamas lies and propaganda seem to overwhelm it. Israel is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious society and a democracy, the only democracy in the Middle East. How many Christians and Jews remain in these non-democracies? Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Jordan. The Coptic Christians in Egypt are brutalized. Iraq. I mean, for God's sakes, Bethlehem was the birthplace of Jesus Christ. It's now 85% Palestinian. You don't hear a word about this. And whatever Jews and Christians are left in any of these countries, they are brutalized. One exception is maybe Lebanon. Used to have a very solid democracy, Christian and Muslim, until Iran, Hezbollah, Muslim Brotherhood destroyed it. Destroyed it. But it looks like Lebanon has a chance, after many decades, of reestablishing its democracy. Why? Because Israel crushed Hezbollah. That's why, and defeated Iran in 12 days. That's why. So the Christians, they used to get elected, prime minister there and so forth, may get elected again. Which army was it that went into Syria to protect the Christian community there that was being slaughtered, with pastors being dragged out of their churches? It was Israel. Israel has Christians who fight for their country, Muslims who fight for their country. Oh, and this one, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Israel does not need pressure from the United States to protect the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which it has been protecting since its very inception. In fact, it protects the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which was purposely built on the holiest Jewish site. It protects that. It protects all the holy sites, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, all of them. All of them. Church of the Holy Sepulchre has always been protected by the Israelis. It was the Jordanians when they took over the area. They were the threat. Now, these are basic facts. These are basic facts. They are not being taught to our college students, apparently. Not being taught to adults, apparently. Not being taught to politicians, apparently. These are basic facts. You know, this guy, Tommy Robinson, who gets attacked a lot, this guy's unbelievable. He's been in Israel for many weeks now. He's British. He's a nationalist. He believes in Britain first. He's been smeared. He's been thrown in jail by that government. But he says the grave threat to the West are these radical Islamists. They're destroying Britain. They've destroyed London. He says not the Jews, the Islamists. He says, I'm going to go to Israel. I'm going to meet with Netanyahu. I'm going to meet with some of these leaders. I'm going to do interviews. I'm going to find out what the hell's going on over there. And he's been posting these interviews. Our media don't do this. Our media don't do it. We got podcasters galore spewing hate and filth. The only country in the Middle East where Christians are safe is Israel. And he does this fantastic interview he did the other day, and I just posted it, of a leading Christian podcaster, influencer, faith promoter, who talks about we're a minority in Israel. About 180,000 of us. If we were in any of these Arab or Muslim countries, we likely wouldn't exist. We join the IDF. We can do any job we want. We can go anywhere we want. They can become judges. They can become whatever they want. So can Arabs, by the way. These are Christian Arabs in the most case, but so can Muslim Arabs. Why aren't these stories being told by our podcasters? Why aren't they interviewing people like this? Why don't our think tanks talk about this? If they want to talk about Israel, they're obsessed with it. I have to spend so much time unraveling all this stuff. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Do you think I want to? People say, well, aren't we allowed to disagree with Israel? Of course we're allowed to disagree with Israel. There are political parties that fight each other and disagree with each other in Israel. There are many people in the media in Israel who disagree with the government of Israel. They have a Knesset where they duke it out like a parliament. So that's not the debate. That's not the issue. The issue is the survivability of that country as a tiny little safe haven, the Holy Land. The Holy Land, where so many of us have our faiths born. We have nothing in common with Qatar that spends billions of dollars trying to destroy our country and the biggest funder of terrorism. Nothing. We have nothing in common with Saudi Arabia, another bunch of inbreds, a concocted country less than 100 years ago that was behind 9/11 as well as Qatar. We have nothing in common with these countries except oil, money. It's okay. We can have allies in the Middle East who aren't Christian or Jewish. We can have allies in the Far East who are Buddhist. We can have allies in India who are Hindu, It's all well and good. But what is it about this attempt to eviscerate a faith and a people? We're not talking about, well, you can disagree with Israel. And so when you literally defend your own existence, your own faith, you're demeaned and you're attacked. I'll give you an example, one that doesn't involve Israel or Jews or anything. Are you Catholic? Many of you are Catholic. It's a beautiful religion. It's a beautiful faith. You have a pope, especially the prior pope, very left-wing. People criticize that pope. I said almost nothing about that pope, did I, Mr. Producer? I didn't think it was appropriate. But people don't criticize that pope, criticize the things he said and the things he tried to do. He's quite liberal. That's okay. But that doesn't mean you trash Catholics. That doesn't mean you attack their faith. That doesn't mean you find conspiracies. That doesn't mean you platform individuals who are anti-Catholic. That's been going on a long time. The Ku Klux Klan went after Catholics just as it went after Jews and blacks. People forget this. I don't forget anything. I know my history. There's no way in hell that I would ever, in my worst nightmare, platform somebody who starts trashing Catholics as having an undue influence on our country. Even if I were to say something in which I disagree with a declaration from the Pope. That's not open to debate and discussion. You don't come on this show, and I certainly don't invite somebody on my show who I know is trashing Catholics, who I know is anti-Catholic, or I'm not going to platform somebody who I know is a racist who's going to come on this show and attack black people left and right. You don't have a discussion with people like that. I certainly wouldn't give them this airwave to be heard by millions and millions of people. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about base hatred. When somebody says that when the Jews were put in the ovens, it's like baking cookies. When somebody says that Hitler should have finished the job, when somebody says that I'm an admirer of Stalin, and on, how much worse can it get? When somebody trashes Christian Zionists, who are simply Christians who believe in Israel, in the state of Israel, not disagree with them, say they despise them. They despise them more than anybody else. That's a bigot. That's a bigot. And you know what? It takes people of real courage. These days, I'm afraid so. Shouldn't. 20 years ago it wouldn't, but today it does. It takes people of real courage to speak out against this. To speak out against it. And these are the people who should be getting awards for courage. And should be acknowledged and promoted. I want to give a special salute out to National Review, their fantastic editorial today, to Rod Dreyer, his fantastic column in Substack. Isn't that what it's called, Rich? I know Rod doesn't always like me. It's not about liking me. It doesn't matter. And Josh Hammer, who's under vicious assault for people twisting his words, and there are many others out there. There are tens of millions of us behind you who love Judaism, love Christianity, love our country, love Judeo-Christian values on which this country was based, and we will continue to promote it. We will continue to denounce those who seek to destroy it.